The smell hit me on a Tuesday night in October at exactly 11:47 p.m. I know the time because I was brushing my teeth staring at my own tired face in the bathroom mirror when something crawled in my nostrils and made my stomach turn. It was not garbage, it was not a dead rat in the walls. It was chemical sharp and sweet like formaldehyde mixed with something organic, something alive or recently alive. That was the beginning. And by the time I understood what was happening behind the door of apartment 4B, I wished I had never noticed anything at all. My name is Daniel Whitmore. I am 38 years old. I work as a claims adjuster for a mid-sized insurance company in Braddock, Pennsylvania. I am not a detective. I am not brave. I am the kind of person who pays his rent on time, eats the same breakfast every morning, and avoids conflict with the dedication of a man who has learned that conflict never pays. I tell you this so you understand. I did not go looking for trouble. Trouble leaked through the walls and found me. The building is called Ridgewood Commons, a three-story brick apartment complex built in the late 1970s, sitting on a quiet street lined with sugar maples, 12 units. Mostly retirees and young professionals. The kind of place where people nod at each other in the parking lot and never learn each other's last names. The landlord, Mr. Pavlik, lives 40 minutes away and visits only when something breaks badly enough to threaten his insurance premiums. Apartment 4B belongs to a man named Carl Schenk, mid-40s, lean build, pale skin that suggests he does not spend much time outdoors. Thin brown hair combed neatly to one side. Wire-rimmed glasses. Always wears collared shirts, even on weekends. Drives a white Dodge Ram van with no rear windows. Works, according to the mailbox label, for a company called Meridian Bioservices. I had lived next to Carl for 14 months before the smell. In that time, we exchanged perhaps 30 words total. He was polite in the way that filing cabinets are polite. Present, functional, empty of personality. I never heard music from his apartment. Never heard television. Never heard a voice. I heard other things. At night, usually between 2 and 4 a.m., I would hear movement, not footsteps exactly, more like dragging, something heavy being pulled across linoleum, then a mechanical hum, low and steady, lasting 20 or 30 minutes, then silence. This happened 2 or 3 times a week. I assumed he was an insomniac rearranging furniture or running some kind of machine for sleep apnea. I did not think about it. After the smell, I started thinking about it. The odor came and went. Some nights, it was barely perceptible, a faint chemical undertone beneath the normal apartment smells of cooking grease and old carpet. Other nights, it was aggressive, pushing through the shared wall between our bedrooms with an almost physical force. On those nights, I slept with the window open regardless of temperature. I tried to identify it. The chemical component was unmistakable. Formaldehyde, yes, but also something else. Something I recognized from a college biology lab I had taken 15 years ago. Glutaraldehyde, a fixative, a preservative used in hospitals to sterilize equipment, used in mortuaries to embalm tissue. I reported the smell to Mr. Pavlik. He said he would look into it. He did not. I called twice more over the following 2 weeks. The third time, he told me that Carl had explained the odor as a cleaning solution he used for a skin condition and that I should mind my own business unless I wanted to find a new apartment. I almost did. Almost let it go. Almost convinced myself that the world is full of strange people with strange habits and that none of it was my concern. Then I saw the barrels. It was a Thursday night, 3:12 a.m. I could not sleep because the smell was particularly strong, and I had gone to the kitchen for water. My kitchen window overlooks the rear parking lot. The lot was empty except for Carl's van, which was backed up to the building service entrance. Carl was unloading barrels, blue plastic drums the kind used for industrial chemicals, each one approximately 55 gallons. He moved them on a hand dolly, rolling them through the service entrance and presumably into the freight elevator that connects to each floor. He moved with practiced efficiency, no wasted motion, no hesitation. I counted 4 barrels. Each one appeared heavy, full. He finished in under 20 minutes, drove the van to its usual spot, walked back inside. The service entrance locked behind him. I stood at my kitchen window for a long time after that. The tap water in my glass had gone warm. My hands were steady, but my thoughts were not. The next morning, I called in sick to work. I sat in my car in the parking lot and waited. At 8:15 a.m., Carl left in his van. I noted the license plate. I noted the Meridian Bioservices logo on the driver's side door. Then I went upstairs. I'm not proud of what I did next. The locks in Ridgewood Commons are standard quick-set models. I learned to pick them in college from a roommate who thought it was a useful party trick. It took me 90 seconds to open Carl's door. It took me considerably longer to process what was inside. The living room was immaculate, obsessively so. The carpet showed vacuum lines in parallel rows. The furniture was arranged with geometric precision. No dust on any surface. No personal items. No photographs. No books. No indication that a human being with a history or identity lived there. The air was cold. The thermostat was set to 58 degrees. The kitchen was similarly sterile. Inside the refrigerator, distilled water, sealed containers of what appeared to be nutrient broth, and 7 labeled vials of a clear liquid I did not recognize. The labels were printed, not handwritten, alphanumeric codes, no words. The bathroom was normal, toothbrush, razor, generic soap. The bedroom door was locked, a deadbolt, not the standard interior lock. Aftermarket installation, heavy-duty steel. I should have left. Every rational thought in my brain was screaming at me to leave, to close the front door, to go back to my apartment and forget everything. But the smell was strongest here, concentrated, seeping through the gap beneath the bedroom door like fog. The deadbolt was beyond my picking ability, but the door frame was old wood and the screws holding the strike plate were short. I used a butter knife from his kitchen drawer. For minutes of careful prying, the frame split. The door swung open. The bedroom had been converted. The bed was gone. The closet doors had been removed. Every surface was covered in thick plastic sheeting, taped at the seams with silver duct tape. Industrial lighting, the kind used in photography studios or surgical suites, hung from ceiling hooks. A ventilation fan, installed through the exterior wall, hummed at low speed, pulling air outward through a HEPA filter. In the center of the room stood a stainless steel table, medical grade, adjustable height, drainage channels along the edges leading to a collection basin underneath. On the table, nothing. It had been recently cleaned. The surface gleamed under the lights. Against the far wall, the 4 blue barrels, sealed with locking ring clamps. I opened one. Inside, suspended in a clear liquid that smelled overwhelmingly of formaldehyde and glutaraldehyde, were tissue samples, dozens of them, sealed in individual bags, labeled with the same alphanumeric codes I had seen in the refrigerator. Not human, at least not obviously. The samples were uniform, rectangular, approximately 4 by 6 centimeters each, pink-gray tissue, consistent in color and texture. I opened a second barrel. Same contents, same labeling system. On a folding table near the window, I found a laptop. Open, screen dark, but not locked. I touched the trackpad. The screen illuminated. The browser was open to a secure portal. The URL contained the domain meridian-bio.net. The page displayed a shipment log, Dates, quantities, destination codes. The most recent entry was from 2 days ago. It read, Lot 2847, 24 units, delivered to processing, client, Keystone Municipal Authority. I knew that name. They managed the water treatment facilities for 3 counties in western Pennsylvania. I scrolled further, found emails, found invoices, found a document titled Tissue Procurement Protocol, Rev 7. I read it twice. Then I sat on the plastic-covered floor and tried to understand what I had found. Carl Schenk was not a killer. He was a contractor. Meridian Bioservices was a shell company. Its actual function, as described in the procurement protocol, was the collection, preservation, and delivery of biological tissue samples harvested from cadavers sourced through municipal partnerships. In plain language, bodies that entered the county morgue system, unclaimed by family, were being diverted, not for burial, not for cremation, for processing. The tissue was sold to research labs, pharmaceutical companies, and medical device manufacturers. Skin, tendons, bone, corneas, stripped, preserved, packaged, and shipped. A single unclaimed body could yield between $5,000 and $200,000 in tissue, depending on age, condition, and the thoroughness of the harvest. Carl's apartment was a satellite processing station. The barrels contained inventory. The steel table was where he worked. The cold temperature preserved freshness. The ventilation system contained the smell, most of the time. The Keystone Municipal Authority was the supplier. Someone inside that organization, someone with access to the morgue and the paperwork, was signing off on bodies as cremated when they were actually being delivered to Carl's van in the middle of the night. I closed the laptop, I closed the barrels, I walked out of the apartment and pulled the bedroom door shut as best I could. Then I went back to my apartment, sat at my kitchen table, and stared at the wall that separated my life from his. I did not call the police that day, or the next. I spent 72 hours researching, verifying, documenting. I pulled public record from Meridian Bioservices. I cross-referenced the shipment codes with procurement databases that are, if you know where to look, partially accessible through state transparency portals. I confirmed that Keystone Municipal Authority had reported a 340% increase in unclaimed body cremations over the previous 3 years, while their actual cremation facility had not increased its fuel purchases. On the 4th day, I mailed a package to the FBI field office in Pittsburgh. Inside, a USB drive containing photographs of the apartment, screenshots of the portal, copies of the procurement protocol, and a typed letter explaining everything I had found. I also mailed copies to 2 investigative journalists at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Then I packed a bag and moved into a motel off Route 30. Carl Schenk was arrested 11 days later. He was charged with trafficking in human remains, desecration of corpses, and conspiracy. 2 employees of the Keystone Municipal Authority were arrested the following week. A third, a deputy coroner, fled to West Virginia and was apprehended at a gas station in Wheeling. Meridian Bioservices was linked to a network operating in 4 states. The investigation is ongoing. I never went back to Ridgewood Commons. I broke my lease and Mr. Pavlik kept my security deposit. I did not argue. Sometimes I think about the smell, that sweet chemical sharpness that crawled through the wall and into my life. I think about how close I came to ignoring it, how easy it would have been to buy air fresheners and close the window and convince myself it was nothing. The world is full of things that smell wrong. Most of us choose not to investigate. I understand why, but some doors, once you know they exist, cannot stay closed. And some truths, once they leak through the walls, cannot be unsmelled. Be careful with your neighbors. You do not know what they do behind locked doors. And by the time the smell reaches you, it may already be too late to pretend you never noticed.